You know, I just love going through my to-do list. It lets me see all the progress I'm making in my day-to-day life. Let's see here. Beat up Jolie Dolly. Just did that. Finish King of Cards. Oh yeah, I finished that yesterday. Finish Persona 4. I've been putting off finishing this game for 2 years now. Do you really think I'm gonna finish it? Talk about Halo Combat Evolved. I actually have to make a video.
Halo Combat Evolved is the second best-selling title released for the original Xbox, only beat by its brother, Halo 2. With the Master Chief Collection soon coming to PC, I figured now was the time to replay this game. After all, I never actually finished it as a child, usually only completing up to the 4th level, forgetting about it, and going back to play something else. Well, without further ado, let's get started.
Ever wanted to see a crime against humanity? I'm going straight to hell.
I originally was just playing the game casually on the 360, and managed to complete it on that platform. However, the Xbox 360 uses emulation to run the game, which can cause some problems at times. On the 360, the game lags. A lot. When a firefight ensues, you can notice the immediate drop in frames per second, making the game an absolute chore to play. Aiming did not feel great either. I'll admit I had not aimed on a controller in a very long time. You can thank the keyboard and mouse for that. I never felt like I had any real precision. Couple that with lag and it makes the game incredibly unenjoyable. Moments that should feel epic were a pain to play, like the finale. Once I'd finished, I had a really poor opinion of the game. In order to judge the game fairly, I decided I needed the real experience. I'd never dug around the basement to find my original Xbox cables, but I finally had a reason to search for them. And sure enough, I found them. The console had not been booted up in such a long time that I had to set the clock. After completing the game again, on the Xbox, I can say that this is, without a doubt, the way the game was meant to be played. The Halo franchise's story is massive in scope, but Halo Combat Evolved provided the groundwork. I don't want to go in depth, so I'll provide the basics. You play as Master Chief, an augmented human soldier who's a Spartan II, the last of his kind. The game begins with the Pillar of Autumn being attacked by Covenant forces, which have been following them since Reach. Chief is woken out of cryostasis due to the assault, links up with Cortana, a sophisticated AI, and begins his fight against the Covenant, and eventually unravels the mystery of the strange ring world called Halo. There are other side characters, but they didn't really seem to matter much, honestly. The main character interactions are between Chief and Cortana, which I felt was a great combination. Chief's honest, direct nature, matched with Cortana's wit and reactions, made for a great break in the shooter gameplay loop. And speaking of characters, Master Chief falls in the silent protagonist tradition, but was a unique spin on this character type, making him stand out as more than just good guy who kills the bad guys.
So, what sort of weapon is it?
What are you talking about?
Let's stay focused. Halo, how do we use it against the Covenant?
This ring isn't a cudgel, you barbarian. It's something else.
Halo's story is groundbreaking because it really was more than just shoot bad thing. It featured real characters. One of Halo's greatest aspects is its music. Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore made audio gold with the Halo soundtrack. Not a single song feels wasted. They each exist with different purposes. Some are grand, featuring Gregorian chants, strings, synths, and odd percussion. Others are much more environmentally ambient, just synths and percussion. The last category there is much more combat-esque percussion pieces. The timing and transitions into these songs feels just right. It makes moments feel richer, deepening the experience.
Originally, when playing the game, I kind of interpreted the music as being jungle music. This probably had to do with, in part, the percussion, but over time I kind of realized it's just meant to sound exotic, foreign, kind of like Halo itself and the environments on it.
You know that subtitle, Combat Evolved? Yeah, well, it's pretty fitting. This game brought multiple changes to the first-person shooter genre as a whole. And while not the game to invent it, Halo standardized the 2-stick system for playing a shooter.
That won't catch on.
This change made aiming faster and much more natural. While joysticks aren't as accurate as a mouse, they still allowed for a much better aiming experience than previous methods on console. In terms of unique features, Halo only allows the player to carry 2 weapons at a time.
Did I hear somebody say something that's not going to catch on?
In other shooters, you carry every gun on you and ammo for each, but not with Halo. You have to pick what weapons to carry with you, factoring in possible engagements, the environment, and the ammo availability. This adds a new level of strategy to the genre, causing the player to adapt to the resources available.
Oh yeah, and you can press a button to melee. You don't have to swap weapons to do it. Look, this has been great, but I just don't see any of these things realistically happening, so I'm going to take my leave. It's been great. I'll see you around, man.
Finally, the most important part of a shooter, the guns. As I previously stated, the two-weapon system adds a new level of strategy. Both factions, the UNSC and the Covenant, have their own weapons, and each faction's weapons serve different purposes. The UNSC weapons fire bullets.
No shit, Sherlock.
But this fact is actually critical. This allows them to be pretty effective on non-shielded enemies, however, they do have drawbacks on shielded opponents. UNSC weapon rapid fire. Go! Assault rifle. Lots of ammo. Spray and pray. Can lag the game. Use it in close quarters. Hold down the trigger. You will just destroy everything. Magnum. Really solid overall. Has a zoom in. Chain headshots together. Very effective. Sniper rifle. Super duper fun. Can kill almost anything in the game. Very useful on the elites and hunters. Rocket launcher. Kill clusters of enemies. Anti-vehicle weapon. Don't accidentally kill yourself by firing it too close to yourself. Frag grenade. Fun boom thing. Shotgun. Literally can beat anything. God's gift to humanity. The greatest weapon in the game by far. However, the Covenant weapons are typically better on shields. The weapons themselves feature unique gimmicks. Covenant weapon rapidfire. Go! Plasma rifle. Average, I guess. Has an overheat gimmick. It's just something that you kind of use if you have to. Plasma pistol. Charge shot gimmick. Can overheat. You click the trigger really fast and it's amazing. It cuts through almost anything. Needler. Combine explosion gimmick. I just dislike it in this game because it's really lame. Plasma grenade. Secret grenade. Can explode in ammo form if something explodes near it, and this can be great in hallways where there's a ton of dead enemies because now the whole entire hallway just blows up. There are also 4 playable vehicles in the game, those being the Warthog, Scorpion, Banshee, and Ghost. I think they're okay in this installment, but in later installments they're greatly improved upon. So what do you shoot at? The Covenant, of course. The Covenant features 4 enemy types: elites, grunts, jackals, and hunters. They each, like the weapons, play a specific role in the gameplay. Elites being similar to the player, grunts just being weak, jackals being a pain in my ass, and hunters being absolute units. I don't want to go crazy in depth, so I'll just say the AI is good. In terms of design though, how monotonous would it be to fight these same 4 enemy types all game? That's why there's a third faction, the Flood. The Flood behave like nothing else. They don't react to grenades, cover, damage, or anything really. They just attack. They're the small ones, the ones that jump and rush you, the ones that have guns to shoot you, and the ones that explode and make more of the small ones. Flood can reanimate after being defeated too, which provides a mix-up. They're critical to the narrative, but also to the gameplay, as they provide the change of pace needed halfway through the game to keep things interesting. After all, fighting Covenant all game would have been incredibly mundane. The addition of just one extra faction changes the dynamics of combat, favoring some weapons over others. Everything up until this point has been fairly positive, but the largest flaw in the game is the level design. The last half of the game feels incredibly tedious. The level 343 Guilty Spark is going into an underground maze of chambers and having to leave, albeit with a different path and enemies. The box rooms and halls is not interesting level design. The level of the library is just wave after wave of Flood while following Guilty Spark. Basically the shooter equivalent of an auto-scroller, and hell, 2 Betrayals is just assault on the control room in reverse with the twist of the Flood and some vehicles. The section where you need to destroy the reactors on the mall sucked as well. It never seemed like grenades worked at all on any of the openings. You'd think that we'd get to see a multitude of varied environments, but instead we only got 6 or so unique ones. Halo's level design for the second half of the game felt very underdeveloped and is the weakest aspect of the entire game.
Halo Combat Evolved was groundbreaking. Its contributions to the first-person shooter genre as a whole are noticeable in almost any shooter played today. It proved that Xbox had a killer title on their hands, and that shooters could tell a complex narrative. While it's not visually stunning like any game today, I still think the gameplay holds up, and its music is of course phenomenal. Something I neglected to talk about, however, was the difficulty settings, as that overall changes how you play the game, how the AI works, and also which weapons are more valuable than others. Another thing I didn't really want to talk about either was the multiplayer, as I feel that's much more of Halo 2's selling point with its Xbox Live online multiplayer. Regardless, I still look forward to playing the remaster of the Master Chief Collection when it releases on PC. So, see ya.